Hey, welcome to the essay writing course. In the next 28 videos, we will learn how to write every type of IELTS essay. To what extent essays, best way essays, problem solution essays, direct question essays, all of them. And we will learn not only how to organise these essays, but the language that we should use inside of them to achieve a high score. However, before we start learning all the techniques to write these individual types of essays, it's important that we understand what an essay is. So, while I answered 10 common questions about IELTS Task 2 in the introduction, in this video I will answer only one. What is an essay? Actually, no. Not what is an essay, but what is an IELTS essay? Because IELTS essays are unique. So, are you ready? Let's go. What is an essay? Well, there are 3 parts to an essay: an introduction, a body, and a conclusion. And I like to think of the essay like a sandwich. The introduction and the conclusion are the bread. They hold the sandwich together. They give it shape. If we don't have them, it's a total mess. But I don't think that the bread is the most important part of a sandwich. I think that's the filling, because the filling is what gives the sandwich flavour and interest. And so when we make a sandwich, we don't usually have as much bread as filling. It would be impossible to eat. It's the same with an essay. We need an introduction and conclusion, but they are much shorter in length than the body. And talking about the body, how many paragraphs do you think we want in the body of our essay? Well, how many fillings or ingredients do you want in your sandwich? Do you just want one? No, you don't want cheese. You want cheese and tomato. It's the same in our essay. We must have at least 2 body paragraphs. If you want to, you could add a third. So this would be like taking your cheese and tomato sandwich and adding lettuce, but no more. This is one big difference between the type of essays we write at school and university and the essay we need to write for the IELTS exam. Way back in time when I was a university student, my essays were 2,000 words long, sometimes even 10,000 words long. Therefore, I would have 10 or 15 paragraphs. But an IELTS essay is only 250 words. This is very short. Therefore, if you write more than 2 or 3 body paragraphs, your paragraphs will be too short and not extended enough, so you won't get a high score. So for an IELTS essay, it's sometimes 3 body paragraphs, but more often than not, 2. And how do you know how many paragraphs there are in my essay? You can clearly see a space between each paragraph, and you must do this in your writing. Some teachers say it's okay just to indent a paragraph, so to move the first word of a paragraph in slightly. I think this is a bad idea because sometimes it is not clear where paragraphs start and stop. It's much better to leave a whole free line as a space. That makes it very clear for the examiner one paragraph has finished and another paragraph is starting. Okay, so these are the three parts of our essay: the introduction, the body, and the conclusion. But what are the functions of these parts of the essay? What should happen inside of them? Now, often this will depend on the type of essay you are writing, but in this video, I want to give you a general idea of what each part of the essay should do. And I think we should start with the introduction. If you have studied essay writing at school or university, you may have been told an introduction should do three things. Number one, it should create interest. In the introduction, you are like a fisherman. You should try to throw a hook and catch the interest of the reader. Secondly, an introduction should tell the reader what the general topic of the essay is. And thirdly, it should tell the reader what the specific topic of the essay is. So, if you're writing an essay at school or university, it is a good idea to include these 3 points. But we're writing an IELTS essay. And in an IELTS essay, one of these things is not necessary. Which one do you think it is? It's number 1. You don't need to create interest in the introduction of an IELTS essay. I, the examiner, am already interested in your essay because it's my job. So in an IELTS essay, you are wasting time thinking of a creative way to make the reader interested. All we need to do is introduce the general topic and the specific topic. And what's the difference between the general topic and the specific topic? The general topic is the big area we are discussing. It can usually be summarized in 1 or 2 words: education, sport, government spending. On the other hand, the specific topic is the particular area of the general topic we are talking about. So if the general topic is a pie, then the specific topic is just one slice of that pie. Let me show you what I mean by getting one of the IELTS exam's favourite topics on the board: climate change. This is a general topic that repeats a lot in the IELTS writing exam. But if you remember from the introduction, the IELTS exam never repeats a particular question. That's because they take a general topic, like climate change, but they change the specific topic. So for climate change, they might ask you about the causes of climate change, the effects of climate change. They may ask who is responsible for climate change, individuals or the government. They might ask you about the future consequences of climate change. These are all different specific topics. So as you can see, for one general topic, there can be different specific questions. In this way, the IELTS exam recycles general topics but never repeats specific topics. The good news is that every IELTS question tells you what the general topic and the specific topic of the question is inside the prompt. Let's look at this question as an example. Men and women are capable of doing all jobs equally well. To what extent do you agree or disagree? I think that the general topic of this essay is included inside the first sentence. It's gender and work. So that's what we must introduce in the first sentence of our introduction. And then, to talk about the specific topic, we must always answer the particular exam question we are given. And what question are we given here? To what extent do you agree or disagree? that women and men can do jobs equally well. What do you think? Do you think that all men and all women can do all jobs in the same way? Or do you think there are some jobs that men are better at and some jobs that women are better at? Your opinion is what you should tell me in the second sentence. And that's what I'm going to ask you to do now. I want you to pause the video and write an introduction for this question. The first sentence will tell me this is an essay about gender and work, so you will introduce the major topic, and the second sentence will give me an answer to the specific question. This is just a first attempt. I believe we learn by doing. I will teach you lots about introductions in future videos, but let's start our brains working now. So, pause the video, off you go. Okay, how did you get on? What was your opinion? Did you agree with the sentence or did you disagree? You can choose either, it's your opinion. Personally, I disagreed with the sentence because I think there are still some jobs that men and women perform differently. So here was my introduction. Over the last 50 years, much progress has been made in terms of gender equality in the workplace. So this first sentence of mine is telling the reader, hello, I am an essay about gender and work. And then in the second sentence, I answered the question. However, I still believe there are genetic differences between male and female employees that prevent them from performing all jobs to the same level. I have clearly given my answer to the question. And notice, all of the information for my introduction was included inside the question, but I don't copy the question. I paraphrase the question. For example, in the task, it says doing jobs equally well. And in my introduction, I said performing all jobs to the same level. So I paraphrase doing to performing and equally to the same level. I didn't paraphrase jobs. Why? Because there is no direct synonym of jobs that works here, and it's okay to use 1 or 2 or 3 words from the prompt, but not all the words from the prompt. So this is our introduction. 2 sentences, one that introduces the general topic and one that introduces the specific topic by directly answering the essay question. Okay, let's move on to the body. What is the function of the body? Remember, it's the most important part of our essay because after you tell me your opinion or your answer to the question inside the introduction, the rest of the body of your essay is where you will explain why you have this opinion or why you have this idea. And generally, paragraphs in the body of an essay should do 3 things. First, they should present an idea. So you should state what your idea or opinion is. Second, they should extend your idea. This means you should develop and explain your idea in more detail. And thirdly, they should provide some support. This means some examples which give your idea credibility, which make them seem like good arguments. Now, we're going to spend a lot of time in the future videos learning to do this. But in this video, I want you to remember one thing. The one most important thing about paragraphs in the body. And the one important thing is there should only be one main idea inside each body paragraph. So every paragraph in your body discusses only one topic, 1. And therefore, all of the sentences inside your paragraph must be relevant. They must be connected to the same one topic. Let me show you what I mean. I am going to show you the 2 body paragraphs for this essay we've been looking at, for the men and women at work. I want you to read the body paragraphs and tell me, number 1, what is the main topic of each paragraph? And number 2, are all the sentences in the paragraph relevant? Or is there one sentence or 2 sentences in each body paragraph that do not belong, that do not discuss the main topic? So, pause the video, off you go. Good. Let's look then at the first paragraph. What do you think was the main topic of the first paragraph? Physical capabilities. This whole paragraph talks about the physical differences between men and women, the differences in their body. How did you know that this was the main topic of the paragraph? Because the paragraph tells you in the first sentence, it says, firstly, there are vast differences in the physical capabilities of men and women. Here, clearly is the main topic of this paragraph. I suggest you do this in every essay. You start each body paragraph by telling the reader the topic of the paragraph. And can you imagine what we call this sentence? The sentence that tells the reader the topic of a paragraph is called a topic sentence. And these are wonderful ways of telling the examiner what the topic is and reminding you to keep all of your arguments relevant. Talking of relevant, how did the writer do here? Are all of his or her arguments relevant? No. There is one sentence in this first paragraph which does not belong. Which sentence was it? This one. Mining has become one of the biggest industries in Australia in recent years. Is this talking about men and women and their abilities in the workplace? No, so it does not belong inside my paragraph. Let's get rid of it. Okay, let's turn our attention then to paragraph number 2. What was the main topic of this paragraph? Relationships. How do you know? Because it tells you inside the topic sentence. The way men and women build relationships with others also differs. Clear, clear, clear. Here is my topic. And again, what about extra sentences? Is there a sentence here which didn't belong? Yes, this one. I think that training plays a role here, blah, 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 blah. Is this connected to men and women? No, so let's remove it from our body. So, body paragraphs should all discuss one topic and have no unnecessary sentences. Once we remove the unnecessary sentences from these paragraphs, you can see that they are actually very good. They both introduce the main topic of the paragraph at the beginning. They then continue to describe and expand that topic, and they gave specific examples to support their arguments. And that's what our body paragraph should do. Let's move then to the final part of our essay, the final piece of bread, the conclusion. What's the function of a conclusion? Well, it's really just to summarize everything you have already written inside your essay. Your conclusion should give the reader no new information. It's just there to remind the reader of what they have already read. Now, I think this can be a bit strange in an IELTS exam because we only have 250 words, and probably only 2 minutes ago the examiner read your ideas, so it might feel a bit strange to remind them and repeat them in the conclusion. Unfortunately, we still must do this. So again, at schools and universities, they teach that there are 3 parts to a conclusion. Number 1, the conclusion should summarize the main ideas of the essay. Number 2, the conclusion should restate your answer to the specific question. And number 3, your conclusion should give a concluding comment, some philosophical sentence to end your conclusion and your essay that leaves the reader thinking about your essay later in the day. Now, I bet you can guess that one of these we don't need in an IELTS essay. Which one? Of course, number 3. There is no need to leave the reader with a philosophical idea. Trust me, after marking 10 or 20 of the same essays, the examiner will not forget the question for a long time. So, you do not need number 3. Unless you have written less than 250 words. Then and only then can you add a concluding comment. So, what would a conclusion look like for this essay we've just written? I think something like this. In conclusion, not only do men and women differ in terms of strength, they also relate to people in different ways. Therefore, I strongly believe that not all jobs can be done by men and women in the same way. Boom, done. What have I done? I've looked back at my essay and I've taken my 2 main ideas and I've put them inside the first sentence. Then I have rephrased or re-paraphrased my main argument that I disagree with the original question. If I only had 220 words or 30 words here, I could then maybe add a concluding comment, some philosophical idea, something like this. However, maybe with time, the gaps between gender performance will narrow. So here I'm just putting a suggestion about the future. But this is not necessary if you have more than 250 words. What have we learned in this video? We have learned that there are 3 parts to an essay: an introduction, a body, and a conclusion. And even though the introduction and the conclusion are important, like bread in a sandwich, the most important part of our essay is the body. To write a good IELTS introduction, you just need to do 2 things. First, introduce the general topic, and second, introduce the specific topic. And to introduce the specific topic, you should directly answer the essay question. As for the body, you can have 2 or 3 body paragraphs. You shouldn't write any more because our word limit is very short. Each body paragraph should have 1 main topic, and you will tell me this topic inside your topic sentence. It's also very important that every sentence inside a paragraph is relevant, that every sentence is connected to the main idea. If it isn't, get rid of it from your essay. It doesn't belong. Finally, we need to write our conclusion. And a conclusion is just a summary of the essay. So to do this, you need 1 sentence that summarizes the main ideas of your essay and a second sentence that directly re-answers the question you were given. Don't just copy your introduction, use different words, paraphrase, but that's all you need to do inside your conclusion. No new ideas. And only add a concluding comment or philosophical idea if you have less than 250 words. So, your job now is to do the practice activities. I can see when students do them or don't do them, so make sure you do. And I'll be waiting for you in the next video where we're going to learn how important the band descriptors are. I'm Shelly, and this is my IELTS classroom. Over the last 50 years, much progress that prevent them from... So in the body of a sentence, so we don't have the bread Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you found the content useful, please click like to help the channel and don't forget to subscribe for new lessons every Friday. Plus, you can find more expert content at www.myieltsclassroom.com.